Hello, my name is Jennifer. I am a student of English literature. This is my story. I want to tell you about my life in London and my amazing journey of learning English. You can read my story and improve your English with me. .it is a beautiful summer day. I am traveling on a train. Two women are sitting across from me. They are speaking English. I understand only a little because I am just starting to learn English. I don't know many words. I gather my courage and say hello to the women. They smile at me, and I try my best to speak in simple English. The women understand me. This makes me so happy. I tell them I want to learn English, and they tell me they are from England. They have just returned from a conference. We talk for 10 minutes before I reach my station. Before saying goodbye, the women give me their phone numbers and tell me I can visit them in England. I feel inspired and motivated. After this meeting, I decide to work hard on my English. Every day, I read English books, watch English movies, and write new words in my notebook. After 6 months, my English improves. I feel confident, but want to learn more. So I decide to go to London and study English there. When I arrive in London, I join an English language school. My first class is on a Monday. My teacher, Miss Claire, is kind and understanding. She tells us that we don't need to study textbooks all the time. Instead, we should use English in our daily lives. Her advice is simple. Speak, listen, read, and enjoy English. Miss Claire introduces us to fun ways of learning. She says, language is not just about grammar and vocabulary. It is a tool for communication. I find this method interesting. We start with conversations about our hobbies, family, and daily life. This helps me a lot because I love talking about my favorite things, like reading and cooking. One day, a student asks, how can we learn new words faster? Miss Claire smiles and says, the best way to learn new words is by reading. She explains that reading interesting books can help us remember new words and understand how they are used. If you see a word you don't know, look it up in a dictionary. You don't need to write it down, just understand its meaning. She says that I start reading every day. I choose books that I enjoy, like mystery stories and travel adventures. This not only improves my vocabulary, but also makes learning fun.in another class. A student from South Korea says he struggles with pronunciation. Miss Claire introduces us to the shadowing technique. Shadowing means copying what you hear, she explains. She shows us a video where a person speaks English, and we have to repeat their words immediately. At first, I feel shy, but as I practice, my pronunciation gets better. I even start using this technique at home while watching English movies. I pause the movie, repeat what the actors say, and then continue watching. It's fun and very effective. Apart from school, I decide to join a football team. I meet players from Brazil, Japan, Italy, and many other countries. We talk in English, and this helps me practice what I learn in class. I also find a job at a cafe where I speak English with customers. These experiences give me confidence and make my time in London even more exciting. One day, a new student named Elizabeth joins our class. She speaks English fluently, and her pronunciation is perfect. I ask her how she learned English so well. Elizabeth shares her secret, thinking aloud in English. When you think in your native language, you translate everything into English, and this slows you down. But if you think directly in English, it becomes natural. She explains that I start practicing this technique while walking or cooking I think about everything in English. I need to cut the onions. Where is the knife? I say to myself. Slowly, my thoughts become faster and smoother in English as time goes on. I see great improvement in my English. My teacher, classmates, and new friends in London have all played a part in my journey. I am no longer afraid to speak English, and I enjoy every moment of learning as the weeks went by. My life in London became more exciting and fulfilling. My routine revolved around attending classes, working at the cafe, and spending time with my football team. Each day felt like an adventure, with new words to learn, new people to meet, and new places to explore. At the cafe, I met customers from all over the world. Many of them were kind and patient when I struggled to find the right words. Some even gave me tips to improve my English. One regular customer, Mrs. Brown, always brought a crossword puzzle with her. One day, she invited me to solve it with her. At first, I found it difficult, but Mrs. Brown explained each word, and I learned so much from her. It became our little tradition, and I looked forward to her visits that on weekends, I explored London with my classmates. We visited famous landmarks like the Tower of London, Buckingham Palace, and the British Museum. I was amazed by the history and beauty of the city. My favorite place was Hyde Park, where I loved to sit with a book and practice reading. Sometimes I even practiced the shadowing technique with audiobooks while walking in the park. One Saturday, we went to Camden Market where I tried food from different countries and spoke to the vendors in English. I realized that every conversation, no matter how small, was an opportunity to improve my skills. There were also challenges along the way. Sometimes I felt frustrated when I couldn't express myself or when I made mistakes. But Miss Claire always encouraged us to see mistakes as part of the learning process. Every mistake is a step closer to fluency, she would say. Her words motivated me to keep going. Even on difficult days. One day, during a group discussion in class, I misunderstood a question and gave a completely unrelated answer. Everyone laughed, but instead of feeling embarrassed, I laughed too. I realized that learning a new language is not just about grammar and vocabulary. It's also about being confident and enjoying the journey. Miss Claire introduced us to creative ways to practice English. She asked us to write short stories in English and share them with the class. I wrote about my childhood in my small village back home. It was challenging to find the right words, but I felt proud when I finished. When I read my story aloud in class, my classmates clapped, and Miss Claire said, "Jennifer, you are a storyteller." That moment gave me so much confidence that we also performed short plays in English. I played the role of a shopkeeper in one play and a doctor in another. Acting helped me practice speaking in different situations, and it was so much fun. The football team became my second family in London. After every practice, we would sit together and share stories about our lives. Each player had their own story of learning English, and we supported each other. Marco, a player from Italy, taught me some useful phrases, and I helped him with grammar. It felt good to be part of a team where everyone was learning and growing together. Elizabeth's thinking aloud technique intrigued me, so I started using it more often. At first, it felt strange to talk to myself in English, but soon it became natural. While cooking or cleaning, I would describe everything I was doing in English. "I'm chopping carrots now. I need to boil water for the pasta." This constant practice helped me think in English instead of translating from my native language. Elizabeth also introduced me to journaling in English. Every night, I wrote about my day, my thoughts, and my dreams. This habit not only improved my writing, but also helped me express myself more clearly. Point one day, Miss Claire announced a public speaking competition at school. At first, I hesitated to participate. The idea of speaking in front of an audience terrified me. But Miss Claire encouraged me, saying, "Jennifer, this is your chance to shine. You've worked so hard, and you're ready for this." I decided to give it a try. I wrote a speech about my journey of learning English and practiced it every day. I used the shadowing technique to improve my pronunciation and recorded myself to check my progress. When the day of the competition arrived, I felt nervous but also excited. Standing on the stage, I took a deep breath and began my speech. I spoke about the challenges and joys of learning English, about the people who had helped me along the way, and about my dreams for the future. When I finished, the audience applauded, and I felt a sense of accomplishment I had never felt before. As my time in London continued, I realized how much I had grown, not just in my English skills, but also as a person. I had become more confident, independent, and open to new experiences. Learning English had opened doors to opportunities one never imagined, from making friends from around the world to sharing my story on a stage. Now, I look forward to the next chapter of my journey. I know there will be more challenges, but I am ready to face them with determination and a positive attitude. My dream is to become a writer, sharing stories that inspire others, just like my story of learning English in London. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it inspires you to follow your dreams and never give up, no matter how difficult the journey may seem.